Hello, I'm Tracy Christensen. Welcome to Community Connection. PTSD is a serious condition that affects many who've served in our military. Those returning to civilian life may face a long and difficult road to overcoming these challenges. Luckily, there are organizations that provide services to help reestablish the self-worth, peace, and harmony to those veterans returning. Kathy King from Canines with a Cause is here to talk about one unique program that pairs combat veterans with therapy dogs. Welcome, Kathy.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to learn about your program. Tell us about it.
Well, the program started about 7 years ago with the concept of dealing with these veterans coming back and helping them get through their issues so they can return to their family and civilian life. And one of the main things they deal with is anxiety, lack of sleep, isolation, those types of things. I had been in animal rescue for over 25 years. And for me, I had experienced the difference that dogs can make in people's lives, whether they're children with autism or a woman who's lost her husband. Dogs that can really help. So the concept came up of pairing veterans with PTSD with dogs, and since my background is rescue, that's where I started. The VA was a little freaked out about it in the beginning when I told them the idea, but since then, it really has been wonderful. The dogs really help them with anxiety. They can sense when they're not sleeping. They give them, they have no fear of people breaking in their homes, so they can rest a little bit better. So yeah, the program has been phenomenal. And the dogs are all rescue dogs. We place them in the women's prison here locally in Salt Lake. They're trained, they live and train with women inmates. So they are pre-trained before we place them with the vet.
And why do you do that? Why do you use the inmates to train the dogs?
Well, normally when you're taking a dog out of a shelter, you don't know a lot about that dog. Where has it been? Has it been with the family? Does it like other dogs? Does it like cats? How does it react to certain things? And for the inmates, we deal with women inmates. A lot of them have children they'll never see again. So they are very responsive to these dogs. They're very nurturing. They like the feeling of being able to give back to society. It's sort of a redemption. And they're really good trainers, and it's also very cost effective. If you look at the cost of training a dog from beginning to end, service dogs range between $25,000 and $40,000.
So expensive.
It's not cost effective. And unfortunately, the VA only places dogs with veterans who have vision or hearing impairment. They're not placing PTSD dogs. So that's something we saw as a need, but the women pre-train the dogs. So when the veterans get the dog, we know all about the dogs, and probably 80% of the dogs don't make the cut for the program.
Really?
Yeah, for one reason or another, they bark at the guards or they chase cats, and that's great. We have an adoption program. We place them in a nice living home, but for the other 20%, they continue their training until they come to class and start working with different veterans and find a veteran it's our sort of dogmatch.com. When they meet that veteran they really like and they hit it off, then they adopt them and they continue training. Because there really is a synergy in that partnership. When you're thinking about combat warriors, they have somebody constantly watching their back. I mean, they're trained to really take care of one another. And when they're getting out of the service with this disability and fear and anxiety, that's taken away from them. And that's one of the reasons the PTSD is there. Number one, they're taken away from a service-type position, and now they have all this anxiety and things to deal with, and the dogs really help with that. The dogs watch their back.
Camaraderie, yeah.
Yeah.
And what a win-win, kind of in three ways. You're rescuing the dogs and blessing the inmates and being able to pair them with the soldiers.
Right. It's a total win for everybody. It's a wonderful program.
How can the community get involved or support you?
Well, there's a lot of different ways. I mean, obviously, we are a nonprofit, so we are based upon the goodness of the community to continue this program. 100% donations. A lot of local foundations are very supportive of us. Volunteers are wonderful. We're always looking for people that want to learn about dog training, to come to class, learn a little bit so they can help. When we have dogs and 3 or 4 veterans in class, it's always nice to have a few extra hands of handling the dogs, and if a veteran needs to leave the room for a bit, somebody to take their dog on. So, that's always a great experience. Fosters, the prison dogs really like to get out on the weekends. It sounds funny, but the prison is a great place to train, but they don't get life skills. They don't get to go to Home Depot. They don't get to do all those things that a service dog needs. So we're always looking for families to take them in on the weekend, take them to soccer games. They're around the family pet or the cat or whatever. And most of the veterans are going to have families in those situations. So it sort of helps them get through that. But those are really the main things that help us, our funding and just a little bit of foster volunteer help.
Okay, tell us your website so everyone can check it out.
It's Canines with a Cause, spelled out canineswithacause.org.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kathy, for the work you're doing.
Thanks for having us.
We thank all the men and women who have sacrificed to protect our country and for the organizations that help provide the necessities they need to improve their quality of life when they return. If you'd like to learn more about Canines with a Cause and other programs featured on Community Connection, please visit our website at kbyu11.org. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Community Connection.